let me, before I forget anything.
We airdropping?
I'm gonna airdrop that shit.
Hey! Smash the like button!
Thank you.
So here we are, after we have the holes marked. We want to lubricate our drilling so the bit doesn't overheat. But you definitely want to wear safety glasses when you are drilling mild steel like this, especially with a freshly sharpened bit. Here's my drill bit sharpener. So we're going to go ahead and continue drilling these holes into this bar stock that I got from the local machine shop. That is the mark of a very sharp drill bit. Ooh, who's got a sharp bit now? Okay, so we have the first hole drilled. We're going to go ahead and spin the table over and do a test fit and make sure that the cap screw fits. It does, so we will double check our measurements and go ahead and drill the second hole. We are at 1 7/8 foot. So we're going to go ahead and drill the second hole, centered on the block. We have the holes drilled, and if my calculations are correct, it should go right on. So, like we discussed before, there are the two parts of the yoke that have to be mounted. So let's go ahead and see if we are successful. The first one is in, and the threads are seating, and the second one lined right up. Ladies and gentlemen, we are victorious. I'm going to go ahead and crank this thing down, make it nice and tight. These are hex socket cap screws, and ladies and gentlemen, we now have our front transmission mount successfully attached to the body. We can go ahead and continue with mounting the motor.
You got something new?
Look at that PBR in there.
Uh-oh, stepping it up.
No, stepping it lateral. They just simply didn't have any,
It's the blue velvet.
But, so this table, so suddenly, noise like, ooh, that looks pretty, we should put a glass top on it. No, we can't, because I made it for a bowling alley top.
Yeah.
He changes his mind. He can't do glass. So, let's fire up the old light. There it is.
Let's get in here.
I decided to use the sexy cap screws, and actually, I was digging through the various and sundry fasteners that you found in the box.
Yeah.
These were in there, and they were the right thread. So apparently somebody had planned this out before. I had to cut them just a little bit shorter because they would have bottomed out inside the torsion bar there, but there it is. See, we don't have... the jack is no longer necessary to hold that transmission in place.
So the front mount on the transmission is in. So now it's safe to mount a big hunk of weight right on here.
Well, and I think we should talk about hanging the motor,
Yeah.
and then we have to fabricate a bracket that goes back to the crossbar. Then we're freaking bulletproof, and we can just start sticking the power plant in this thing and getting it done. You like my my tripod base?
That's sick.
It's a clamp. I did notice that this frame cross member got meshed at some point. Yeah, it's epic.
Amazing. You can't find one of those.
I don't even know what it's called. It's 1.25 inch key stock is what they call it. I went to Wilson Works and told them what I was going to do, and then I took that impression that we made in the picture and laid out the holes and slapped it on my dad's drill press, and they lined right up. I told him to save me another one in case I screwed up. So, the only fabrication thing we have to do now as far as functionality is design a bracket to carry the rear of the motor. Oh, you haven't witnessed my...
And now, a Frederick find. Brought to you by premium weathered, handmade wooden furniture and structures.
Rolling tool chest. Remember before I had to dig through bags of tools?
Yeah, a lot of footage I had to edit out.
Yes, so these are all the special, you know, hex keys and specialty tools here, and brake tubing bender, and these are squeezy clampy things. And these are handle twisty things. That's what I call them. And these are bully things. But I mean, I've never had a rolling tool box.
It's almost like you do this for a living or something.
Now it feels like I do. Well, yes. So, what is that beeping?
Me.
Oh, are you saying some kind of doctor or something?
Is that dinner?
No, that's the runoff from the engine cleaner. Try to get that. The stock rear engine mount, it's laying inside the passenger bay of the thing. So we'll hang the engine on there, motor. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
And then make some measurements and figure out a mount for the rear. And we're gonna have to name it. We have to name things, don't we? So we don't have to put the clutch or anything on right now. So we have to determine what's up. This is up here for the bell housing, because the plate that the distro box, that's what I call it, sits on is this not right? I think that's correct. There, I guess they put 3 bolts in for, look at that. We're gonna have to have races. I wonder why they do have 3 bolts there, but just 1 hole on this one. But I think we determined that this side is up, so we can bolt the motor to this. Yeah, I believe that's it. So we can bolt the motor to this in the upright orientation, and then do some measuring. And then I can go to Wilson and get the parts. Those guys are great. Wilson Works Incorporated, Morgantown. If it's steel, they can make it. So I think the motor, I fixed the workbench so it won't. God, this thing's heavy. What is it? The price per pound for this?
Still a lot.
Let's see which way this mounts. And this is up. That's a direct match right there. So, ooh, that concerns me a little bit. There's some millings in, see that? In the mount of the motor, down in the hole there. There's some millings we have to dig out before we go putting a bolt in there, because we don't want to bottom them out into the... So, which way does the motor go? Let's determine this. This doesn't go up, because I think the cooling plate would interfere, don't you think? Yeah, it's gotta go sideways one revolution. So, what side do you think we should run the wires on?
Let's look at that.
This being the front of the motor, mounted to the transmission. It could be either like this or the other way.
Let us know in the comments.
Let us know in the comments. I guess it doesn't matter. What do you think, Ward?
No, I don't.
Although
it does not matter, yeah.
if we're gonna have the control box on this side, the gray plastic box on this side, then this should be oriented towards that side, correct? But then you've got this. Oh, this is just taped on. We've got plenty of wire here to run that, so that presumably would go over to the driver's side, to the gray control box. That would be best, don't you think?
Sure, yeah.
We don't have much,
not a lot of room.
much of a leash here, do we?
Probably make more and figure out what gauge it is. If you needed to.
Probably. Or we could call EV West and say we need jumpers. You think? Okay, so with this being up, correct? This being up. We'll go ahead and mount the bell housing to the motor. Oh, I'm glad you guys are here because there's no way I could get that in there by myself. So what do you think? Are we on board for that?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I don't know why there are 8 holes in there.
Because I bet this works for the Coleman Gia and the bus
Probably.
and the Beetle.
It may be in the van again.
Yeah, it may work them all. It may
Say
just,
Vanagon.
Van again.
So these are the nuts and bolts to mount it together and to yeah. So I guess we can go ahead and torque these hex socket. No, these aren't socket, but hex cap screws.
you gotta get the millings out too.
Thank you for reminding me. They're in there. So let's get them millings out.
Gravity or suction?
Well, I don't have any suction, Doc. If we had, do you have suction at your shop? At your office?
Not
Your
really.
Doctor's office?
Yeah, not really.
Shop? I called it a shop. The dog shop. Because, I mean, a dentist would. In fact, when I was the maintenance guy for Madeline's,
Yeah.
you know, Dr. Hawkins's
Yeah,
office was above. And there were some kind of scary situations of suction traps
Yeah.
for all the
Human
human.
excrement.
Oh, they even. This is the fastener for the. You know, I have some.
Oh, well, it's all the way down in there now.
Oh, no worries then. I don't think those cap screws go all the way in.
Oh, you can get it right there. It's right there. Look through it. Look through here.
Oh yeah, we gotta get this shit out. I think I saw him fly out. We don't want him to get out inside the motor. I'm surprised they let those millings fall down in there. There's the only they could get out inside the cooling fins. They were too big to go down in that crack, so I'm gonna spin this around. I saw them come out. In fact, there's some there on the floor. So. Yeah. Look at that. Man, that's a T10. Hey, I got a place to put it. I gotta pee. It sounds like a potential. Did you see how that locked in? Look at the
I got it on camera.
turn, and then it just sit right in. Who manufactured the motor?
It's on our seat.
Which is in the paperwork pile somewhere here.
HPEVs. HPEVs.
Assuming they're metric, we have the metric hex wrenches. That's about right. They're invented by Mr. Allen. That's really nice. They recess in there. And of course, I wish they had torque specs with these things. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We're going
Let's. I'm going to start a list of questions.
through. We're going through aluminum into aluminum with high strength bolts. Or cap screws. So we've got a certain threshold. Don't want to surpass.
Something tells me you ain't gonna do it barehanded.
I was thinking about getting the impact wrench out, but we'll double check the torque specs before we actually install. But it's tight now, so we're good as far as. And we should, just for fun, you ready for the cat's meow? Just for and giggles. See what I did there? We should go ahead and mount this. Now,
That wire in the way?
it sure is. No, wait.
Yeah.
So
We have to turn it another set of degrees.
So that's the torque spec for the
Transmission,
Bell
the plate.
housing to motor. So now that doesn't work in that configuration. So we have to turn it 45 degrees. We're learning. So those wires will actually be in a better position. And that's why there are 8 holes. And then the through bolts that go through the transmission go through here, which is a very good design. Man, kind of makes me wish I were an engineer. M10 by 1.5. That's the standard of what we're dealing with here. Presumably. Feels tight. Run through the backside. Oh, it might be this cap screw needs chased. So we'll get the tap. Wow, that's heavy. It's really heavy. But it's not as heavy as an internal combustion 4-cylinder, horizontally opposed, air-cooled
1.6
Volkswagen engine. You should be able to hand tighten anything machined. And if you can't, well, you want to see why. No, that's too big.
346 minutes later.
I think this is the wrong bolt. Because all these go to here. So probably send a shorter one.
Agreed.
One of these bolts is longer, so we need to determine why. Okay, the long one goes through the starter housing. Okay, so the bolts go through the bell housing into, because they're nice and tapered. So I'll want to attach the top ones, so gravity will then just hold it in place. So this will be the first one. So you'll do one in the top, and then we'll just hand tighten it. Oh, look at this. See, I'm learning stuff about this all the time. All right, that's bent. So that's going to have to be straightened out. There are rear mounting bolts for this transmission. Oh my God, we're bulletproof, man. See that? Yeah, this has to be bent in, so we'll do that with maybe a clamp, because that'll cross thread if we do that now. Unless you want to bash it with a hammer, Ward.
No thanks.
Oh, come on. Oh, I'm waiting.
Okay.
I'm waiting. Yeah, that's moving pretty easy. How did it get bent, I wonder? The transmission formerly known as Prince. Not quite enough, but it's going back. Let me see how much more we have to move it. C-clamp might do it. Cussing is about to ensue. This might be the biggest pain in the ass of the whole project so far. Alright, come on, motherfucker.
It's going to be like, I'm about to start cussing, and then he says, I'm about to start dropping the F-bomb.
I'm dropping the F-bombs now. F-bombs dropping. I just... well, we'll see what happens.
Indeed, we will.
I hate to have to put this in and take it back off, but I don't want to even mess with any of this until we have the bracket figured out, and then we'll put it in for keeps, you know? Ready. I'm in a bad spot.
Don't worry about that. It's not running.
Okay. See, at times like these, it would be nice to have a transmission jack on wheels. They make them.
Yep. Get a tie down and ratchet it up.
Actually, I've got a plan. One bolt should hold it. And I'm just going to lift it up and put it in place because I think I can stand up in here.
Huh.
Yep. And then have you put the bolts in. Yep. Hello.
I don't know about it.
I think that we might have to cut the end of the transmission shaft off.
Yeah, let's do. We'll be gonna do some research.
Let's get my calipers. I got a caliper. We're gonna measure from the inside the flange. .245 inch and a quarter. And then how deep is this? Who's good at math? 1.2 plus 0.08. 1.25 plus 0.08. 1.33 ish. That's only one. That's only an inch. So I think we're good.
Yeah, the beast.
I'm a carny. Okay, you got a bolt ready?
I have a bolt ready. This ain't gonna be pretty.
It's gonna be beautiful. I just want to find the balance of the motor. Okay, hold on. I need to go a little bit further back.
At least we'll have your injury on tape.
What's that?
At least we'll have your injury on tape.
Feats of gargantuan strength. Okay.
It is threaded to start.
Okay, good enough.
All right.
Okay.
One is on. You got it.
Yeah.
Ooh, man.
Let me put the long
Come
one.
around to the long one. Okay.
Christ. Huh. I tell you. Very nicely machined.
You got it.
Yeah, here it's in. There's the. Oh. I know it's kind of foolish to put this on now, but I want to make sure everything's machined right before we put it in for good. I think a friend of mine has a transmission jack.
He's not using it right now, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, we'll get it. Oh, it's not?
My backwards.
Yeah. Okay, the washer's still on it. More.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready?
That's much better.
Goody.
Good. All right.
Okay, so it's there. We can go ahead and do the other two. Just to prevent screwing up. Yeah. How much that thing weighed? Does it have the shipping weight on it?
Yeah, oh my god, that is over 80 pounds.
No, it's over 100. Let's say it's probably 120.
Jesus.
Okay, now here's the problem. Oh, can I get out? I might be stuck here for the night. No. Okay, Okay, do we have
The fourth one isn't threaded yet.
Okay, because we're missing a washer over here. Here's the washer for it.
It's not threaded either.
Okay.
I couldn't get it through.
I want to tighten the top too,
Yeah.
so it's not putting undue strain on those bolts. Yeah. If we get it,
Hey, that's pretty, huh?
it's probably 15. I don't know. It's tiny. I mean, relatively speaking, that's a very small motor for such a large amount of awesome. You know? You know how rare 14 millimeter nuts are? Huh. Of course, that wrench is not wanting to fit on there very well. I'm gonna have to use a socket, a 14 millimeter socket, and a ratchet. Yeah, I also need to get a divider thing so I can sort all my sockets. I'm gonna add a lamps thing.
All right, washer. Can we just put like a straight piece of metal with a hole and bolt it right over the starter hole?
We'll just do that. I like that idea.
And a gasket, a rubber gasket or whatever, and torque it down. I don't know. I only feel, I guess there's 2 bolts on? No, there's only one. I only feel one.
There should be 2. I'm glad to know that all the holes line up. Oh, so this one bolt goes through where the starter is. Okay, cool. I'll just make a tracing then, and we'll just make a plate and bolt it on when we mount the engine motor propulsion device. Remember, folks, this is my first electric motor install, but at least I don't call an engine a motor. EV West, you guys did a hell of a nice job on this, machining this bell housing, man. So, now we can really get to work. We can really get to putting stuff together, making stuff happen, rather than sitting around scratching our head and figuring out what are we going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on this episode of the EV Combi. Follow us on the socials, EisforEV on all the stuff, all the things. And until next time, oh, the cord, I don't want to ruin the back. Until next time.